I sent my best friend, the inbox, and I said, Calvin's in the bathroom and he's not answering the door. And she said, oh my God, Steph, go check. And my response to her was his dumb ass probably overdosed. And he was really down in the bathroom dead.
Damn.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay, we are back. Easter weekend. Happy Easter. We have a special guest who drove up from Dayton, Stephanie Cooks. Cook? Cook.
Yes, Cook.
Thank you for coming, first of all, especially on a holiday weekend. First and foremost. And secondly, you are a counselor, right?
I am.
What kind of counselor? Because I know there's different kinds.
I'm a substance abuse
Substance
counselor.
abuse specifically.
I am a LCDC too.
Okay. Okay, great. And you have a story of your own, yes?
I do.
A history. So you have lived experience. That makes you one of the good counselors, you can pull from little nuggets of your own experience.
Absolutely.
To help your clients. That's cool. Well, let's start with your childhood. Let's start with how you were raised and where you grew up and what all of that looked like.
Okay, so I'm from Cincinnati. I was born to a 15-year-old. So my grandmother ended up raising me with my aunt that is 3 years older than me. So she raised me until I repeated the same cycle of my mom. And had a baby at 15 as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did. So then had another one at 17 and then another one at 19.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was pretty busy for a while there.
Yeah. What did your parents think of that? Or were your...
So when that happened, it kind of led into me kind of being out on my own, like having to figure things out, like in the streets. So it was a lot of probably couch surfing going on because I ultimately didn't have my children. This is even before any drugs ever entered into my body. Yeah, I was pretty much homeless for a good while there until I reached like kind of adulthood and got my first place. So yeah.
Prior to having your first kid at 15, did you go to elementary school and everything? And
I did.
How was that?
It was rough. It was rough.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think that my trauma really did not come from within my home. It came from school. It did. A lot of it came from school.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what kind of things, if you are comfortable,
I think just trying to fit in and never being able to quite fit in and then becoming, getting bullied, stuff like that.
What do people bully you for?
Because I got a big kid. I do. I have a big kid, so I got bullied for that.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I didn't notice a big head, but that's all it was. They would just call you.
I mean, we were kids. So
yeah.
Was,
yeah, and that hurts too.
Yeah, it does.
Especially
It does.
like middle school and.
Yeah. So by the time I got to middle school, I started running away. So when I was in middle school, I started running away from home. So I don't know. I didn't complete my junior high. Like I didn't complete it. I went to the 8th grade, and I got kicked out of one school, and I went to like the neighborhood school. I did complete the 8th grade, but that was as far as I went because then I ended up having my daughter.
Your child.
So, yeah.
So after you have your kid, obviously you have 3 more by 19.
Yes.
And you said you were essentially couch surfing, right?
Yes.
How does that work? Trying to raise, 3 babies.
I wasn't raising 3 babies. My grandmother was raising 3 babies.
She was.
She had the responsibility. Well, she didn't have to do it. She didn't have to do it, but she took care of them.
So were they living with,
My grandmother
and you were just
doing what I wanted
out
to
there
do.
doing whatever you wanted to do?
Yes,
So what did that look like at the time?
a lot of running the streets. Still no drug use, but a lot of running the streets.
When you say running the streets, what does that mean? What kind of things were you seeing, or like what were you exposed to that that really was like normal to you that maybe isn't normal to some other people?
I can't really say I got exposed to anything abnormal, really. It's just I was running the streets. I just wanted to be outside. I just wanted
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to be grown, and I wasn't really. So,
When did drugs and alcohol enter the picture?
so it entered when I was 24. So by this
24.
time, yes, I had met my who would be end up being my husband. I met him when I was 20, and I had my own place, and he ended up moving with me. Let me say this. It may seem like I was really promiscuous, and it would be okay if that were the case. I really even wasn't promiscuous to come up with a lot of children. It was really bad calculating of dates, really.
I
Just
mean,
not even doing it a lot, just doing it on the wrong dates, and
no,
came out with
I
with
I
babies.
understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand clarifying for the viewers. I
Yes.
get that. I get
So
that.
it's like, why did she keep doing this? Yeah, it wasn't that I was just out here just screwing my life
Right.
away. It was bad dates.
There's
Well, they were
something.
good because I love my children,
Yeah,
but you get
right.
what
Good
I'm
things
saying.
came from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were moved in with this gentleman at 21. You were saying,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And we, I don't know. I don't know if I was, oh, I don't know if I was ever really happy in the relationship. So prior to him becoming a part of my life, I was with my third son's dad,
Okay.
but he ended up hurting me really bad. And instead of me taking the time and making the correction and healing myself, I engaged in another relationship.
Emotionally
Em-
or
I
physically?
know I didn't heal myself in any type. Well, it was
No, I
no
mean the
physical
hurt. The
abuse,
hurt.
but the
Yeah.
hurt, the pain, it was emotional
Okay.
abuse. Right? He was just a chronic cheater. That's it.
Oh.
Yeah. So at that time, I believe that I chose myself by leaving the relationship. I just didn't know what to do with the emotions after I was gone. So I ended up in another
Just another
relationship.
relationship.
Correct.
Okay. That makes sense. And the drugs and the alcohol began here?
No, it still didn't. So my mother, my mother was on drugs. She is only 15 years older than me, so she is a product of the 80s.
Crack
So correct.
epidemic.
She was a part of that. So um, I don't know. Okay.
Take your time. You're good.
So I've always stayed away from drugs. I never really had a desire to do. When I was in the sixth grade, I did get expelled for drinking a wine cooler, but that was only as a result of trying to fit in. One of those
Okay.
instances of trying
Okay.
to fit in. So
Did you do dare?
I did not. I
You
did
didn't have
not.
dare?
No,
No.
we did not. I did not at
Was
all.
there anything?
So this is the funny
Like
part.
any
Out
kind
of
of?
all of the girls that got caught drinking the wine cooler, we got expelled from school. So we had to go for a drug assessment, and out of all of them, I was the only one that
That
had to go
went.
to treatment. Yep,
Oh, that had to go
that
to
had to go to
treatment.
treatment. Everybody else, and they are not addicts. Like right now today, like they haven't experienced
Really?
addiction yet.
So, what age did you go to treatment?
That was I was in the sixth grade, so
Well, yeah. How? So, where do you? What kind of? What does treatment look like for somebody in the sixth grade? Like,
groups, IOP groups for teenagers,
okay,
parent involvement.
okay,
Yeah,
got it.
so
And did you even know how to I mean,
Had no clue.
like
No. That
one wine cooler. You don't
resulted
have
in
a whole
that.
lot of experience
Right.
to, plus you're a kid.
Yeah.
So I mean, to sit there and be open and honest and talk about your emotions is not something you really want to do
Right.
as a child. I mean, I didn't at least.
I can't even
Um,
remember a lot of that period, truly.
really.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so let's move. Let's fast forward back to, let's see, 21. You moved in with that gentleman. Um,
He moved in with me.
he moved in with you.
Yes.
And what did life look like? Like once you got your own place, you said you hadn't had a drink or a drug yet. So was the goal to establish like a home and have your children come and live with you and be with you? Or did you want like one foot in, one foot out, where, okay, I've got a home now and you can come visit, but like what did it look like? Or what were
That's
your
it.
goals?
That's what it ended up being, was that I had one foot in and one foot out because I still didn't take full responsibility for my children at that point.
And plus, you're still like young too, so like
Yeah.
you were probably grappling with that. Like, well, I didn't get to be a kid, really. I mean,
I don't know, because I've always wanted to be older than what I was, and
yeah,
I've behaved in that manner. So, that's just being honest. Like, I've always done what I wanted to do.
yeah, yeah. Um, take me to the first time you had a drink or a drug and what it did for you,
That negatively did set off the addiction.
or
So,
like how did it happen and what was the experience like? Like,
so when I was 24, I improperly picked up a bathtub of water, trying to like do a little foot massage, like
okay,
putting my foot in a foot bath. I improperly picked it up and I messed up my back. And so I then went to the doctor, who then gave me a prescription. So I'll be honest and say I didn't even really engage into
yeah,
the
it's like
pills then.
you
I
weren't
was
seeking
selling them.
it,
Right. I wasn't seeking it, and it was just, I would take it as prescribed, but I was selling it. So it wasn't a habit as of yet. And so then they sent me to physical therapy, and I was in like a lot of pain, like truly. And he bumped me from oxycodone 5s to oxycontin 40 milligrams.
whoa.
Yeah, it was a huge jump.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that's a massive
yeah,
jump.
it was.
It's also a massive difference,
It
and
is. It is.
you
And
know,
the
because
type
the
of effect.
fives have Tylenol in them,
Yes, yes.
40s don't,
Nope. And it
and
was being released the way that I would take it, it would be released throughout the day.
yeah, extended
So
release.
I was still selling them then, but it would take them. So I can't even tell you at what, they say that you cross an invisible threshold when you cross into addiction. I can't even tell you when it happened. I just know it happened.
And it
Yeah.
started.
Gradual, and then got
Well, it started
progressive.
with you picking up a tub of water
Yeah,
and hurting your back.
yeah,
And there's so many people that have like normally it's sports injuries or I broke my arm or whatever the case may be. They get prescribed opiates and then next thing you know they're hooked.
yeah.
Um, what year was this?
This was in 2003.
Okay, okay. So Florida pill mills are getting ready to kick off, but
Yes.
you're getting prescribed OxyContin at home. Um, and like you said, that invisible line you crossed it at some point. When did you realize?
The first time I felt withdrawal.
Yeah.
The first time that I
When
didn't have
when
it.
was that? And like what was that feeling like and that realization like?
I want to say it was in 2005. So I have two more children that are now 19 and 17. That one was born in 2005 and one was born in 2007. So yeah, after I had him and I had took some was on pain medicine, and then I didn't have anything. Yeah, and I experienced withdrawal. That's how I
Like
know
full
full
blown,
blown
because you were
withdrawal.
taking 40s how many times a day?
Yeah, 2 times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So you're talking like full blown
yeah,
kicking
yeah,
serious withdrawal. So
yeah.
what did you do? Did you like
Bought pills.
stick it out, or did you go to the street and you got what you needed?
So let me explain. I've never been the drug addict that would have to go out and buy my own drugs. So my husband ended up doing that for me.
Okay.
So I've
Okay.
never.
So he had pills as well. They were around.
Yes, he would sell mine. I wouldn't do it. He would sell my pills.
Okay.
So
And you start getting them off the streets. Um, I assume your habit grows.
yes,
Generally.
yes.
How big did your habit get?
We were getting a prescription for 240 at one point, and that wasn't lasting at all. Like maybe like not even a week.
You were getting a prescription of,
240 30 milligrams
jeez.
and 120 15 milligrams, like 60 Xanny bars from Florida. So
Oh, you went down to Florida.
I did. I
Oh.
did. I did. So I worked for Delta. Um,
Oh, holy crap.
right.
Okay. All right,
So
hold on. All right.
we did. We skipped a
We got to
bunch.
rewind, yeah.
We did.
Because we went from you hurting your back, having 40s, to going down to Florida doing the whole thing.
So let me
Yeah.
say that every doctor that I have had in Ohio has went to jail in some shape, form, or fashion for some kind of unethical behavior.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me,
Right.
especially back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Because they were handing them out. My mom was being prescribed Oxycontin like crazy for fibromyalgia. Not to say her pain wasn't real, but you don't need that much,
Do not.
you know?
You do not.
So, how did you find out about the Florida play? Like, where did that come in? Like, how did you hear about it? Or how did you even know to do it?
So I went to treatment in Florida, and when I got to treatment, everybody is talking about the pill mills. So when I was able to, I called home and I told my husband, like, yeah, you need to come
Come
and
on
pick
down.
me up from treatment. Come get me like ASAP.
ASAP.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And it happened at a time when I had my taxes too. So
oh wow.
right.
So you were trying to quit, and instead, because you ended up in the state of Florida, naturally any rehab probably in the state of Florida at that time are going to have a ton of people that are going to pill mills.
Yes.
And because you were from Ohio, you didn't know about the pill mills until you got there, and everyone was talking. I'm sure everyone was talking about it in groups or whatever in the treatment facility.
Yeah.
And so you called your husband and said, "Yo, you got to come down here today,
Yep. And get me.
and I'm
Yeah.
gonna go get some of these."
Yeah. I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, what does the process, how did it work? How did the process work? We've had one other person on who did it, but I'm curious what your experience was.
Okay, so I found I looked. I don't even know how I found the pill mill. I know I do because they were actually like running ads in papers to.
Yeah.
So that's how I found the pill mill, but we just flew down. They sent us to a place to get an MRI, and as you know, at that time you did not have to have any type of license to own a pain management
Yeah.
clinic in Florida. So they were just hiring doctors that would just freely write. So my back was messed up.
Yeah,
Yes,
you had a legit
I did.
injury too.
I did.
But I mean it didn't really matter down there. The MRI thing, when they sent you to get the MRI, was it one of the trailers?
It was a trailer.
It was a trailer with an
was.
MRI
Yes,
machine?
it was.
What was that like? Because
Different.
I've only seen it once on TV. I've heard about it,
So my
but
doctor was on the doctor's office that I went to was on Cotton Express. It was.
is that was that the two brothers?
No, I don't
That's
think that they were
American
brothers.
Pain.
Yeah. So his name was Vinny, and he got like 500 and something years behind that pain clinic.
Damn.
Yeah, football. That's beyond football numbers. So yeah,
Yeah.
he's never coming home.
No.
Yeah.
No. Holy shit. Yeah, when you got to the trailer MRI machine thing, were you like kind of like what the hell? Like what? No.
No, because it all was.
You just knew that that was part of the
I
process to
did.
get the
Yep,
prescription.
I did. I did. It was all kind of janky to me. So
So you get your MRI, you go back and they give you your scripts and then you go and get them filled.
no, because
Or do you walk
the
out with the
crisis.
pills?
No, so yes, the first time that we went, he did make us buy the pills from the clinic because we were from out of state.
Okay.
So we bought, which ended up costing so much more money than what it should have, but it still was profitable.
Oh, I'm
Profitable,
sure. I'm
right?
sure it was still profitable. Still, I'm sure it was still killed street prices.
Yeah.
Much cheaper.
Yeah.
So what would you do? Like, what was your cadence? Would you uh, grab prescriptions, come back home, sell them, go back, like, or were you sending people eventually in the networks? Or
No, so I never got to the point that would have been the ideal thing. So we took one person to Florida with us
okay,
to get a script, and then so we ended up obtaining a Florida ID. So we had to get a Florida ID. So um, we had to connect down there. That we sent mail to their house and was able to get the ID. So that way the price also went down for us, and we were able to take our prescription out of the office. But the thing is that Florida would not have pills, so you wouldn't be able to fill a script really in
the
Florida.
pharmacies would run out.
Yes, they would. They would. I have actually had a pharmacist tell me like this is like really bad. Like you should probably try to do something else.
And the pharmacists, I'm sure, um, knew like this is completely screwed up,
Yeah.
but it didn't matter because it was legal. Like it was legal.
Correct.
That's it.
Correct.
There are like the tales true of like lines
It is
down
it
the
is.
street
It
and
is.
like people in the parking lot like nodded out in their cars shooting up or snorting lines of oxycontin or
That's the absolute truth. So the lines would be out the door, but they would have like a VIP, like the office that I would go to. You could
uh
pay to like skip the line.
really.
Yeah, so you wouldn't be out there all day.
How much was that? Do
That
you
was
remember?
$100, $100 additional.
I'd pay that
Me
shit.
too.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I be
Yeah.
needing to go. My time is
Yeah,
important.
get me out of here.
Yeah.
Damn. Oh man. I Oxycontin was my drug of choice too. It's where I started at 18 and like I was getting them in Ohio at the time for like between 45 and $55 a piece for an 80.
Oh wow.
But I knew they were coming from Florida.
Right.
I graduated high school in 2009 and I was only a kid, so like I never really got to experience like I never had a shot to go down really. I
Right.
could have,
Right.
I suppose, but
Right.
I was a kid. I didn't really know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
But man, it from what I hear, it was nuts. How long did you do this for, and how frequently were you going down?
So I don't even know if I should say this. So at the time that this was going on, like I said, I worked for Delta, right? But I was very,
Yeah.
very much so sorry, Delta, because they were really good to me. But I was very much in active addiction when I was working
Well,
for Delta Airlines.
I mean, that's not. I feel like you don't need to apologize for that.
Yeah, but
now.
they
Make amends
they
to Delta.
probably got maybe out of 5 years, they probably only got maybe a year, and I'm probably being generous of me being employed, active employee,
actually-
in there working.
What'd you do for Delta?
Reservations,
Really?
yes.
So you were like what do you call it, a stewardess or anything?
No, I worked in the office.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I worked in the office.
Booking.
So downtown Cincinnati has a reservation office where they do the
Okay.
reservations, and yeah,
That's
where
kind of sweet.
it was.
Did it pay good?
Not really with the plight.
Really?
The benefits, I think.
You'd think it would pay. That would pay okay.
No, so with Delta, when you give them like 10.5 years of service, then you make really good money. So like I think at that time,
10.5 years.
yeah,
That's
you
a
have to get
long.
them
That's
10.
a long
But
ass time.
people don't leave really from Delta. Once you get to a company like that, especially if you like to travel, the benefits for a lot of people outweigh. I mean,
Yeah.
but you also have to look at it because when they top out at the 10.5 years, you might be sitting next to an agent that's getting paid way less than the one that's there. So they retire a lot of their agents. So
Okay.
you get what I'm saying?
Okay. What kind of just out of curiosity, like what kind of perks for traveling did you get? Like how cheap? Like if you want to fly somewhere,
free.
free,
I flew free.
totally free.
Totally free.
So you wouldn't drive down to Florida.
No.
You would fly.
Fly.
Oh shit.
Absolutely.
Every time.
Every time.
Oh man.
I don't even know what a drive like to Florida is like to Florida.
Because most people, well, shit, I'd say 90% of people were driving down there from the Midwest, the West Virginias, the Ohio,
I probably would have. I
Kentucky.
would have. I would
Yeah,
have. I probably
because it's like a
would've.
12-hour drive.
Yeah, I probably would have.
But damn,
Yeah.
it's like a fucking hour flight. Well, if no layover at least. If you
Yeah.
go straight through, it's like an hour and boom, you're there.
You are. It was quick.
How many years did this
So
go
I
on for
did
you?
that for
Like,
probably about 1.5 years.
okay.
Yeah. So I wasn't in it, that part of it for very, very long.
Yeah, you
It got shut down, kind of.
really
When I got
that pill mill.
all of them. All of them. They shut it down. Yeah.
What? So okay, they shut the pain clinics down. What do you do? I remember hearing about that happening. It was like this big mythical thing. Right? It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. What did that do to you as an addict or as someone who was hooked on? I'm assuming I mean, if you were doing in the beginning 80 milligrams a day, I have to imagine you were doing far more than that by the end.
I was. I can't even tell you. I was. That time was like also really dark. I was really, really depressed, probably a good majority of the time, and wasn't
Yeah.
like really functional at all.
No.
And always have. So
No.
yeah. So when that happened, I found a doctor in Ohio. That's what I did.
Oh, really?
I did.
So you didn't stop?
I did not. Why would I?
I don't know.
I didn't have any-
It seemed like a good time to maybe try to stop. I don't know.
So no, I mean at this point I haven't had any consequences besides I haven't had any consequences to show up that were beyond internal.
Yeah.
Do you get what
Yeah,
I'm?
yeah.
So all of my consequences were internal. So I had no reason to even
No
stop.
jail,
no
no-
jail, nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I guess that's a
And
good point.
I called charges before it ever being an active addiction. So
Oh,
my
you did?
behaviors have always been
Pointed towards.
that I was problematic to myself.
You said you did catch charges before.
Yep.
For what?
So I called. I don't know how to leave my hands off of other people's shit back then. I didn't know how to
Oh,
leave people's
you,
shit alone. I like to,
You had sticky fingers.
yeah. And then I didn't like to return rental cars on time. So I caught a felony for that.
Yeah, they'll get. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
They have like GPS trackers in those.
Yeah, that's they
can
take that
find
pretty
you.
serious. Yeah.
Like how long before they can report it stolen?
I don't even know. I don't even think it's long that they had. It's probably like some days.
A couple of days.
Yeah.
So you got a felony charge for
I
that.
did out of Kentucky,
Oh.
so I had to get extradited to Kentucky. So this Yeah, yeah.
When is this? Is
This
before
is
the pill mills.
so no. This is after the pill.
Oh, okay.
So it was kind of at the same time. I say that. So yeah, but I still would have made that same decision, not using no drugs. So I still
So
would have.
you get arrested for that.
I did.
You go to jail.
So it wasn't that simple. Yeah, it was on Easter weekend. It was a. I
Oh,
went to
was it?
jail. Yes, it was. It was on Easter weekend, and the police were there for my husband and my daughter having a dispute, and what ended up happening was they went to the court and ran my name and came back and said that I had a warrant out of
Kentucky.
Kentucky, and I was like, no, I don't even go to Kentucky. I don't have no warrant out of there. I absolutely did.
And so they took you.
They did.
That was your first time going to jail?
No.
Okay.
So prior to active addiction, I worked for a company called Fax, and they had credit card numbers, and I thought that it would be smart to smuggle the credit card numbers out of the company and use them at Lazarus, and I got away with it. It was Lazarus then; it wasn't Macy's.
For a while.
No, I got away with it I was working there for the Christmas season, and I got away with it enough to get Christmas gifts and
Yeah.
had done Christmas, and then my ass got greedy and went back and
Oh.
got jammed up. Went to jail.
What was that like for the first time?
Uh,
Everybody has a different answer.
so it was. I don't know. I felt shame. I think because my children were waiting on me to take them ice skating. That's what I remember the most.
You were supposed
Like
to go
not
ice
even. I
skating
was
that
supposed
day.
to take my children ice skating, and I ended up in jail.
And how did you end up? Were you there long enough that they got to come see you?
No,
No.
I bonded.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was a misdemeanor. No, that
No, it
should have
was
been
a
a felony
felony.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So me and my husband went to jail. So I had been doing this whole little thing by myself without him, and then when he went with me, we got jammed up together. We both went to jail.
Did you ever go to prison?
No.
No prison.
No prison.
Okay. Sorry, let's see. You get back to Ohio. You said you found a new doctor for the pills. You keep doing the pills. You're selling them
Selling
in the
them.
streets,
Yes.
whatever. Never got caught for that.
Never got caught for that. My
Yeah.
husband either. Never
Damn.
really know law
Are you still with the
enforcement.
same man?
Still, so we were together for 20 years before he transitioned. Yeah.
Before.
Before he before he died, yeah.
Oh, he passed away.
He did. So once the Florida thing was over and um, we ended up getting kicked out of the doctor that I found in Ohio. So at that point, I went back to a different doctor and we were able to get it. But at that point, we had already switched over to heroin.
Okay.
So he brought heroin to me once to get me out of withdrawal. And then the one that had went to Florida with us had gave him, I was in withdrawal another time. So let me say this also. My husband was not, when Florida was happening, I would say that would be probably his first time like experiment. Well, I don't really know because that may be me taking too much credit. But to my knowledge, that was his first time messing with
Experimenting.
pills. Yes.
Okay.
So I didn't know. So I don't know. I just look up and we both in active addiction. That's how it feels to me. Or maybe I just slept through a lot of what was going on. Like I wasn't really there.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you're doing that many painkillers, it's pretty blurry and fuzzy
Right.
looking back on it.
Right.
Even for me, I don't remember a lot of the things. Like
But-
it's there, it's just deep down.
It is. So there's a period of time, the period that I'm going into right now when we kicked over into heroin. Like I can't. My memory has been suppressed, like of a lot of things that occurred during that period. But I just really think I was just checked out. Like I was really sad. Like I was really not even functioning, not washing my ass, not nothing.
So were you? Was it? It was tar, I assume.
No.
Powder heroin,
Hmm.
and you were snorting it.
Yes.
Okay. Because I know I switched to heroin too at one point, just like we all did. Um, at least it feels that way. Every person that I've known that started with OxyContin switched to heroin at one point or another. But there's tar and then there's the powder. And I started the first time I did heroin was powder too, which
Yeah.
was super convenient because I was like, oh shit, this shit's way cheaper, it's stronger, and it does the same thing, and I can snort it.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is perfect. This
Yeah.
is great. That's how I felt. Um, and then the needle came for me. Did the needle ever come for you?
So the needle did come, but the needle could not stay for me. Um, the time that so I walked in on him. We would just snort the heroin. That's all that
Yep.
I had awareness of. One day I was playing too much, and he was in the bathroom, and I walked in on him, and he was in there shooting up, and I was like, "Dang, like, why would you have that from me?" And he was like, "Because I was embarrassed." So I was like, "Well, why weren't you we doing this together? Like, why would you do that?" So he tried to shoot me up. And I ended up getting there's the scar from it
Oh,
right
you have a
there.
scar from
I
it.
do. I ended up getting an abscess so big on my hand that the hand surgeon said that if he would have been the one that cleaned it up, he would have put me to sleep.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it was bad.
So he missed completely. Like he,
My veins are really small. It's not.
it's hard.
It's hard.
It's tough
Yeah.
to.
So that broke me up of wanting to shoot heroin.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've got giant fucking veins, and I never had that issue.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I picked up the needle, I never set it back down until I got sober.
Yeah.
It
I
just
think that if I would have been able to shoot up as well, that we both would have died. I do. I
yeah,
do.
that I mean that might have saved your
Yeah,
might
both
have
of them.
saved your life. Um, you said he passed away.
Did.
Do you mind sharing
I don't.
how
I
or
don't mind.
what that looked like or
So, on May 5th, 2018, I don't know, that day was. So, let me say this. The disease is so progressively, it gets so bad. At this point, I do have consequences showing up, right? When he transitioned, when he overdosed, I do have kind of consequences showing up in my world. Still not jail and stuff like that, but I had a grandbaby on the way, and her mom moved in with us, and so the electricity got cut off. So not only did the electricity get cut off, but the house was like infested with mice.
oh
Like,
wow.
yeah, so it was a really bad.
You just weren't taking care of yourself or
Anything
anything
really?
at all.
No.
And that's how it is.
No.
I was the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um so your husband passed away from an overdose.
Yes.
Were you present when it or did you
Yes. So that day, that's what I was starting to talk about that day. I don't know. It was just like a really weird day. I was really mean to him that day. I was really mean. Um, and that he was playing the game, tried to make me think that he had left the house. So he opened up the door and closed it, but he went into the bathroom. And so I'm upstairs in the bedroom. I don't know that he's in the bathroom. My my daughter was 10 at the time. She came and was like, "Mommy, Daddy has been in that bathroom too long. Do you want me to go and check on him?" And I told her yes. And I could hear her knocking on the door. And I was just like laying there she was almost one at that point, but my grandbaby, we were asleep. Um, when she came and asked me, did I want her,
Yeah.
to go check.
Cuz you
So
thought he was
I
gone.
did. I did. So, as I'm hearing her knocking on the door, in my mind, I'm saying to myself, you probably need to get up. Like, you probably need to start moving. But I don't know. I texted him. I sent my friend, my best friend, the inbox, and I said, Calvin's in the bathroom and he's not answering the door. And she said, oh my God, Steph, go check. And my response to her was, his dumb ass probably overdosed. And he was really down in the bathroom dead.
Damn.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
yeah.
I'm sorry. That's what perspective like that story gives, right?
Yeah,
Like you're so quick to say that dumbass
mm,
probably overdosed,
yeah.
but like he he's gone, and once you're gone, there's no coming back.
It is
You
not.
can't take any of that back. You
Mm-mm.
can't do anything over again. Like,
That was it.
so when eventually did you head downstairs and find him and know that?
So the bathroom was locked. So my two oldest sons, they were not at the house, and I don't know how they got, but it was coordinated. I know that they were there at the same time. And by the time I got down there, he was already out of the bathroom in the living room, which they really shouldn't have did that, but they had already moved him.
Your sons
They did, yes.
and what, CPR or try? Oh, just it
It
was
was,
over
yeah, it
with.
was over
That
with.
was that.
That was it.
And call 911, waiting for
We did.
the.
We called 911. I believe they were called 911 as they were kicking in the door to get to him. Uh, yeah, but when I remember they have a task force that comes in when somebody overdoses. So the whatever that is that they had down there at that time, he was saying how many overdoses it was in our area that night. It was a lot of overdoses.
Uh,
Yeah,
so probably,
bad dope.
well, yeah, the dope that was out there,
Yeah,
or good dope, or however you want to
yeah,
word it.
worded. Yeah,
Everyone
how you
was,
see it is how it serves you.
yeah, everyone was grabbing it, and
Yeah,
everyone was ODing.
yeah,
Damn. Yeah, that's rough.
yeah.
That's rough.
But the insanity of the disease is that following, I left from the house that night. I want to say that next day I went and retrieved that same dope that he died on.
I
I
was
went,
gonna ask
yes,
you,
I
did
did.
if you started off like when that happened, if you were like, I'm done, I'm in your head, like I'm done,
In my head,
I'm
maybe.
done, I'm done. And then that next day rolls around and everything changes. All of a sudden, you fucking can't. You cannot fucking stop. You can't stop. You like.
So what I remember most about that period is not having any control over my tear ducts. Like the tears would just fall and so I was in an immense amount of emotional pain.
I'm sure.
So yeah, I do remember that. I just remember probably wanting that to go away.
And I wouldn't. Yeah, and that's the thing.
Yeah,
Like to quit after that. No, you want to numb. You want to numb that shit.
you
Like
know.
you want to numb that out.
Yeah, I think I was able to get like a couple of days somewhere in there, but not a sustained recovery. No.
Yeah, it's hard to do without help.
Yeah, but I remember my daughter coming to me during that period, and she looked at me and she was like, "You're not using, are you?" And I was like, "No." And I told the truth. I wasn't using at that point, but I did start back using. So
How many years after that did it go on for before you finally something, whatever catalyst drove you to get clean?
1 year and 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah, a year and 3 months.
And what was the catalyst?
I woke up so spiritually bankrupt I couldn't. I didn't even want to be around myself.
Couldn't look yourself in the mirror.
Yeah, none
Nothing
of
left
it.
to give.
Nothing.
Miserable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Walking Dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
the feeling. I know the feeling very well. Um, yeah, you're not worth a shit. You feel like you're not worth a shit. You know what I mean? And I remember feeling that I was just better off not being here. Like
Right.
for me, I was passively suicidal.
Me too. I
You
probably.
know what I mean?
Yep, I
Like
do.
I was too much of a coward to pull the trigger or do it myself. But if somebody else did it or something happened and I passed away, like
Mm,
fine by me.
right.
I hated everything about myself, and that's what the disease does.
Yeah.
And it's progressive, and it's fatal. You know, and there's only three options, right?
Jails, institutions, death.
You got it. You know, like I said, I lost my mom to an OD, and I was talking about it the other night. Like I tried everything I could, right? It was like, oh, come with me to a recovery meeting, or come with me to this, or like, come on, mom, just try this, I promise. Like, there was nothing I could do other than set an example when I got sober, and let her know that there was a way, and she just didn't want it, you know?
Right.
And that's, yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, and it is painful. Um, How did you get clean?
So the day that I woke up like that, I ended up calling. So in April of that year, in April of that year, I had a really bad car accident, right? And I was leaving, I was going to Jamaica in 3 days. I was still very much in active addiction, right? So I was trying to figure out because my best friend does not know
Yeah, how that?
she did not know that
How the hell are you
get
gonna?
dope onto the
Yeah,
boat.
yeah,
So, because
fuck.
I'm going to be sick if I don't have any
Yeah.
dope. So, this is what
Oh,
I'm,
that was one of my worst
yeah,
fears.
yeah, withdrawal,
Well,
yeah,
yeah, just like knowing that like traveling,
yeah, yeah,
like I'm gonna have to risk bringing stuff.
yeah,
Something like I couldn't travel. It
yeah.
was like I was just stuck.
Yeah, I was gonna come up with a master plan to get that dope on the boat. That's how I viewed it. But 3 days prior to going to the Bahamas, I ended up having a really bad car accident in Cincinnati, and it was a drunk driver. She was drunk, but I was leaving from copping heroin. So as I was getting put into the ambulance,
She was getting put in cuffs.
I don't even know. I don't even know. I really don't even know. Because I was like the first thing that came. Oh, okay, like I get it. Like I probably need to start redirecting my behavior.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that was a moment for
that was
you.
yeah. Like ooh, you can't even be mad. Like I wasn't mad at all.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she messed me up. She did. She was fine, but she messed me up.
Damn.
Yeah. So that
But one and the same though.
it
That's
was.
that's the thing.
It was a trade off, I guess.
Like one and the same.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
two people, same disease,
Yeah.
just different substances.
Yep, I think at that time, without even realizing that was what was going on, I did not want her to go to jail. I wanted her to get help. I didn't like jail wasn't gonna do like can you get her some
Yeah,
help before she
yeah,
kills somebody? Like you can't drive around impaired. But I was doing the same thing, just on a different scale. You
yep.
know.
I used to think that I was better than people who drank.
Yeah.
Well, not well prior to the needle, but like with the pills and stuff. I remember thinking that I was like better than drinkers, and uh, I would frown upon people who drink, and it's like, well, I just do a little bit of this pill, and you get all
Yeah.
fucked up, and you can't remember anything, and you can't drive, and it's like the things that you'll convince yourself
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
are unbelievable. So you get taken to the hospital.
Yes.
So how long are you in the hospital for?
So they took me in as a trauma, and I was only there for maybe 2 days, if that. maybe 2 days.
And I'm sure they had you on some sort of
Pain medicine.
pain medicine, so
Yes.
you didn't have to go through
I
withdrawals.
sold them for heroin.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So
So
yeah.
you were talking about the take home,
Yeah.
like what they prescribed you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you get back. So you do use after that.
Yes.
Um, and then what? When do you make a decision? When does?
August 5th, 2019. I
Okay.
make a decision that I don't want to live like this anymore. But even at this point, my life wasn't even. When I left, when my husband overdosed that night, we never went back to that house again. We moved in with my best friend, and that's where I stayed until I was able to secure housing in Westchester. And so I moved me and my two youngest to Westchester. And life was, it wasn't like bad, but it wasn't good either.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
like, I just would run to Cincinnati and go cop dope and then come back and then stay in my room. So, I absolutely had to heal in the same place I was sick in.
Right.
I did. And I couldn't tell anybody because I thought that I was slick. And I thought that nobody knew that I was still on drugs, but they knew.
Yeah.
So, my son, actually, my oldest son had moved into Westchester with us. And I remember when I did go to the methadone clinic, I waited until I was like 90 days clean. And I was like, okay. I went and got help. And he was like, you think that I didn't know that already? So I was
Yeah.
only fooling myself. I
Right.
was lying to myself,
Right.
thinking nobody knew.
So what did you go to treatment?
So no, I went to
I heard you say methadone.
methadone.
Clinic.
So yeah, I went to the methadone clinic.
So did you start with methadone, and are you still
No,
doing on the MAT
so-
program, or
So
or doing-
no, so at that when I went to go get help, I went in with the mindset, and I'm so ever grateful for Matt. I am. I believe it was instrumental in saving my life. But I went in with the mindset that I needed to be able to function without anything. So we laughed about this when she was discharging.
What the fuck,
Yeah, I got a friendly ghost in here.
bro? What the fuck just happened?
I started moving my. I moved my hand.
So
So
Why
I need
is
to
it-
keep my hands still.
is it?
Okay.
Mine has never done that before.
Okay.
It's probably just like a weird, it's probably glitching or something.
All right.
Okay. All right. Anyway, that was fucking bizarre. Okay.
So I went in and I told them that I didn't want to be put on liquid
You wanted to get off the-
Yeah,
the
I didn't want to
methadone.
be on liquid handcuffs. So, but I was high when I went to that first appointment. I was. They wouldn't even let me drive my car home. Yeah, the doctor said that if I drove my car, she was gonna call the police.
Like
When I
you
went
were
to the methadone
intoxicated.
clinic. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's funny. Methadone was the first opiate that I ever took. Swear to God, and it was a pill. And God damn, I was young.
They was like this. They was shaped like this.
Yeah, they were They're
Yeah,
wafers.
yeah.
Damn, yeah, I was young, and it like rocked my world
I
for
bet.
hours.
I bet.
Like it was like I was fucked up the whole day, and I was like, that was really a lot. Like
Yeah.
that was, and I know obviously since you had a tolerance, it's not like you were getting.
Right, no.
super
It just
high
got
or
me kicked
anything.
out of one of my pain management doctors.
Yeah,
It was.
well.
I didn't realize that was the only pill that didn't leave in 30 days. In 3 days, and it
Oh,
stays in your
the
system
half-life.
for 30 days. So I got kicked out. I thought I was good.
Yep,
I was not.
the half life is really long on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's funny, the medically assisted treatment, and I'm curious. Well, I mean, I guess I know where you stand on it, but I was like always against it. Like always, because you said it. You said liquid handcuffs,
That's what it is.
and that's exactly what I used to describe. I'd describe it as a ball and chain.
It is.
And because you can't go anywhere without it, you have to have it wherever you go.
Yeah.
So what's the point? Like, why am I
Harm
right?
reduction, flat out.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that until my mom passed away.
Yeah.
And then when she passed away, I realized, oh well, if she had done that, maybe she wouldn't have.
Right.
And that's where the whole harm reduction and like it keeps people
Yeah,
alive.
it does.
It gives you a chance.
So this is the thing about recovery, right? And this might be a very unpopular opinion, but to ask somebody that hasn't dealt with any emotions for a long time to sit with a bunch of emotions is a tall task
Yeah.
to get completed.
Yeah.
You know, and when you get everything is removed, you are definitely going to have an influx of those emotions. So I think that a lot of people, it really just is about the harm reduction.
Yeah.
I don't want to kill myself, but I'm not
I
quite
don't want to
there
keep
yet.
doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. And I think I would encourage anybody that has any kind of willingness at all to do it. Like,
Come
if
off
that's
of it.
if that's the first step, then that's the first step.
Yeah.
So be it. We can cross the bridge of getting off of that
Yeah.
when that day comes.
Yeah, yeah.
But until then, if you're gonna agree to that, then what in the fuck?
If you're gonna agree to that.
If you're gonna agree,
What is happening?
why is this light doing this?
Something is wrong with it, though.
Probably because I gave an unpopular opinion, and
No,
the people that do
no,
Suboxone
this is
and
not.
methadone, they be upset. They'll defend
God damn
their,
it.
they will. Absolutely, yes, they should.
We have not had a good fun past 2 days. We've had cancellations, and we uploaded an episode for Sunday, and like the audio was messed up on one of them. Now the
Nah.
lights fucking turning blue on us and shit.
Okay, what did you say?
That if that's where they are, that's where you
That's what you
that we can worry about getting them off at a later date.
Yeah,
but if that's
yeah.
where they are.
Fuck yeah. Oh man, where was I at? I'll just start from there.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, again, I was very open about being against Matt, and if that is the first stepping stone for someone's recovery, so be it.
Yes.
Like, that's how I look at it now. And it even like the whole Cali sober thing, man. I used to, the smoking weed and whatever. I used to like, that's not you're not sober. That's not recovery. But like, I also got sober around a bunch of like old timers.
Yeah.
And like they don't play that shit. Like it's abstinence or get out.
Yeah.
And like in some ways I'm grateful for that because that meant that I worked a true program. But like I look at it so much differently now. And I've there's people, not just my mom, but people, friends, whatever, that people I care about that I've lost, that if they had just done that,
Yeah. Yeah.
Suboxone, methadone, whatever, they'd still be
Something.
here.
Yeah. Something.
So what was you said you got sober in 2019?
Yes.
What's your journey been like, and when did you laugh when I say that, so I'm curious why you laugh when I say that. Has it been?
Because if it's not like so, I guess I be transparent.
That's what this is about.
So I would say that my recovery journey has been as amazing as I have allowed it to be. So meaning when I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, when I'm basically doing what I'm supposed to be doing,
Yeah.
then all is well. Then I'm good. It's when I want to do what I want to
What
do.
you want to do?
that I get consequences that now it just looks different. It looks like maybe unhealthy relationships, toxic relationships.
Yeah.
So I would say that I got into recovery. I finished. That was in 2019. I graduated from college in 2021.
Oh damn.
I think in 2021 I found a job that I absolutely loved. I absolutely loved that job, but at that point I was just a CDCA. I was still waiting to sit for my tools. So I worked that job up until I was in emotional pain again. So I had to. I don't believe in being a wounded healer. I do not. I just don't. So if
A wounded
so if I'm
healer.
hurting and I don't have anything to give to my clients, I'm not. I'm doing a disservice. I'm probably projecting and doing things that probably shouldn't be happening. So
Your
I
shit
it's
is
flowing over.
yeah.
How can it not?
Even
So
if you try or you
not to.
think you're
Yeah.
hiding it or whatever, it still come. Yeah, I know
It
exactly what you
bleeds out.
mean.
So I
A
had to do
wounded
that.
healer.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
I'm stealing that from you,
Oh, that's
and
fine.
I'm gonna tell people I made it up myself.
It's okay. So yes, I had to leave from a job um, for a period of about 6 months, and I went home and I healed, and then you know, went back to work. And as a during that period, during that 6 month period, I was able to obtain my LCDC tools. So at the time that I felt like it would have been the best thing for me to do. I didn't know how, like, leaving from that job, my bills were still very much. I didn't have a savings, so I had to leave with just some fake that taking care of myself to be able to take care of others was.
Gonna
I was
work
gonna,
out.
yep, and it did. It did.
When did you get off the methadone? And
November of
how in the
2019.
hell did you do it?
So it was
Because that I
Thanksgiving.
hear that's a
It is.
bitch.
It is. So when I got to 40 milligrams, I got home. They take you up like every week, but I knew that I didn't want that initially. So when I got up to 40 milligrams, I got home and I got a wave of euphoria, and it scared the hell out of me. And I told them, like, take
Oh,
me down. Like, no, we're not doing it. So
you got high or
I
you
did.
felt
Basically, I felt high,
you
and it
felt you
scared me.
yeah
Yep, it did.
that warm like
Yep. Yep.
it almost feels like it's filling that
Oh
hole.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I was like, oh no, I don't want that. So I went the next day and told them to take me down. They took me down five. When I got to 30, they started taking me down like 2 milligrams a week. And then when I got to 16, it's in November sometimes. So I do my take home, and when I get to Saturday, I feel pretty good. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just see if I can not take it.
Mhm.
So I didn't take it. Then it turned into 3 business days, and I'm calling like, yeah, I'm not gonna do the methadone anymore.
Damn.
And she was like, well, let's keep the clinical part of it. I'm like, yeah, my life's
No,
starting.
no, thank you.
Yeah. I had
Yeah.
too much going on. I was working at the Claremont County Jail. Yeah, I had too much going on. Going to school in Dayton,
You're
and
working at a
I was living in Westchester, working in Claremont County,
you worked
and
in the jail?
I did. I worked at the CASC program through Greater Cincinnati Behavioral Health.
You the task, what is it called?
CASC, CASC.
And
So
that's
they send their people that are suffering with addictions, instead of sending them to jail, they send them to treatment within the jail. So they had like their
a
own
special
wing,
unit.
right? So I worked within that unit. Third
I bet
shift.
that was I mean, I bet
Hell,
that
yeah,
hell?
it was for me. Yeah,
Really?
it was. I didn't like it at
R-
all.
what about it?
I don't know. I think because you really, and at the time I didn't have a awareness of energy the way that I understand it now. And I was just leaving completely drained from there. So it was hard on me.
Yeah,
And
and are you working like 12s?
no, it was an 8 hour shift, but it was
Okay.
third shift, and I was
Yeah,
going to
third shift's
school.
rough.
Yeah, so we were still in person. So I was still having to leave from there, come home, try to sleep for a little bit to make it to my afternoon classes and Dayton.
Basically, take a nap
That's it.
until you
Yeah.
can go to school.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough. I could see, and working, and I because I believe it or not, I've actually worked in corrections too. I did it for 2 years, and I've seen a lot. I mean, so much turnover because it's not for everybody.
It's
Like
not.
you really have to be. I don't want to say a special kind of person, but really you got to be a kind of person that can just almost not care at times in order to work in corrections, or you'll take that shit home with you every night,
Yeah.
and it will drive you insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand that completely, and as far as the methadone thing, props to you for knowing like to get off of it, like your opportunity to get off of it.
Yeah.
You said, wait, let me give this one more day.
Yeah.
And you did, and I think for me, full abstinence is, I don't know, I see it as a competitive edge. Like truthfully, that's
Tell me more.
no, I just see full abstinence being a competitive edge. I have a competitive edge in life
You
over
do.
people who,
I misunderstood
you know what I
you.
mean?
You do. You
Yeah,
do.
like
You do.
that's how I look at it.
You do.
And I found that to be 100% true.
Yeah.
You know,
So when you remove the substances, whether it be harm reduction or not, you remove the fog from your brain.
yeah,
And that's really
because you're still methadone
it still
still,
does the same thing.
and I remember taking that one. It fucked me up. Like it's still it's a downer, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
still is a depressant, and it's fogs your brain. And while yes, it is keeping you alive, it's still there's still consequences like from taking that
It is.
medication.
Methadone get in your bones. It's
Yeah.
rough to come off. It's rough to come off of. It is.
Yeah, no,
It
I've heard
is.
horror stories.
Yeah.
Like that's why your doctor fucking caught you, because it stays in your system for so long.
Yeah.
Like that's why it's so hard to kick in most cases,
Yeah.
because it stays in your system so long.
And they put them on such high doses.
Oh yeah,
Of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
People.
But I have to also keep in mind that I can minimize my methadone, and this is not to say because we got more similarities than we do differences, right? But I have to keep in mind that that was my drug use that was only at a half a gram a day. A lot of people are doing much more
Oh yeah.
than a half a gram. They are, using a
Right.
lot. So, trying to be understanding.
But still, I mean, half a gram a day is a pretty good habit.
It is.
You know,
It is.
if you keep up with that,
It's
that's-
$60 a day. So yeah.
That's not easy to do for most people. What's your life like today? I mean, are you so you're what, 6 years in? Are you happy with where you're at? Are you do you look back and
So I just came off of one of the roughest years of my life, I would say.
tell me about it?
Gosh.
Tell me about it.
So I felt like when I went back to work in 2022, everything was blossoming for me. I was working like at 3 places. Like life was really looking
Good,
nice.
yeah.
So I think that I probably self-sabotaged myself and reached back and grabbed the old relationship that I had just got out of. That when I left from that company and I had to heal, I had left that relationship and I re-engaged. And I re-engaged for 2 years. And I guess I was not willing to do my work at that point to fix myself. So I engaged in a relationship. It was just a relationship, and it was toxic because I was unhealthy. And so
Do you feel like it was giving you those good feelings initially that you were like looking for instead of doing the work?
I'd be lying to say that no. And the person, I absolutely adore and love them. I do. I just realized that we on two separate paths. Like our time has come to an end. I don't know that it just was a rough year from um, being in that relationship, knowing that probably wasn't the healthiest situation for me because I was unhealthy. So I'm going to take full accountability because it's all me at the end of the
Right.
day, right? So a man can choose me all they want, but it's up to me to approve what I'm gonna deal with and what I'm not going to deal with. Correct.
Hmm.
So um, I don't know. I don't know. I think I made something fit that wasn't. Well, I guess it was supposed to fit at that time,
But
but
you stayed sober,
yes.
so that's a win,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
'Cause you lose that, and then you really lose
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Not to take away from it being hard. Trust me, I understand. I've gone through some hard things in sobriety
I feel
myself.
like I just lost everything. Like literally lost everything as a result of not redirecting behavior that needed to be
Like
redirected.
financially or like
Financially,
internally.
internally, like I left tapped. Like I was when I my view just and this is my personal view, but a bad relationship can be just as bad as active addiction. It can really like yeah. I feel like I left bankrupt. Probably on a lot of different levels. Yeah.
Damn.
I ended up I made the most money probably
That
that
you've
I
ever made.
made last year, but I couldn't keep it. I couldn't keep it. And then I ended up having a heart attack in October
Oh my god.
that everything just went haywire after that. It just went haywire.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's heart attack and losing everything.
I felt
Essentially,
I
the way it
hadn't lost
felt,
everything when I had the heart attack. That was the beginning of everything starting
falling
to
apart.
follow. So I let me correct myself because I'm not gonna sit here and act like the man was bad. It was me.
Yeah.
I was toxic. So it was bad for me to want to engage into a relationship being unhealthy in the first place. If I would have fixed myself, I would have never done that in the first place, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So everything, it felt like at the time that this was going on, like I lost my job in October. Like I just had a heart attack. Like dang. So we got all of this going on, but everything felt like it was falling apart, but it was really falling together. So yeah,
And
but it felt horrible at the when I was experiencing it, and I'm still, rebuilding right now.
I mean,
But
yeah, it hasn't been
yeah,
that
that
long.
long, yeah,
Hasn't even been a year.
yeah.
But you feel like you're headed in a better
Oh
direction now.
yeah, yeah. I think probably for the first, yeah, it, I did the work that I even neglected to do the first time. Like I realized that I'm responsible for how my life shows up. And the same thing because I'll be quick to tell a client how they can create a life to be whatever they desire it to be. So it was really li- being living proof of resilience, of moving through when it's bad, when it feels bad, when it looks bad, when you don't know.
What you use that term, a wounded healer. Um, how long do you feel like you were uh, doing therapy or counseling in that kind of a mode?
I know at least through the summer. At least through the summer. Through last summer, yeah.
And your goal is to, I mean, obviously listen and help, try and give them guidance,
Yeah.
suggestions, obviously.
Yeah.
But deep down, you knew that you
Yeah.
weren't
I have
fit to.
my self awareness is really good. Like I don't get the luxury of feigning ignorance in situations. I have hella good self awareness. Like I know, like yeah, I know. But I mean, at that point, the decisions that I made while making a lot of money, it ended up, I needed money. Like I had done created a lot of bills. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, do you have a message for anybody still struggling or anybody that uh, maybe they're on mat, maybe they're ready to kick the old ball and chain off, or now that you're not a wounded healer and you can deliver a message to, outside of just your office or where you work.
I would tell somebody that's still suffering that it doesn't change. The suffering doesn't stop. The suffering gets greater as time goes on. Um, like it's better, so much better, a life free of substances, not having to worry about your next fix. You get to have life and have it more abundantly when you choose to lose the substances. So I would encourage anybody that's still in active addiction to choose themselves, probably for the first time ever. And they can have a great life, an amazing life. I'm not saying that challenges won't arise, but the way that we navigate challenges is a lot
Always gonna,
different.
yeah.
Yeah. So, um,
Even with the time I have, I'm nowhere near perfect, and that's just that's the realization is that I'm never going to be.
well, not. We are constantly. So, this is what I will also say that the pain gets a purpose. So, all of the pain, there has never been a time in my life that I've endured like a tremendous amount of suffering, and it wasn't greater on the opposite end of it, whether that was active addiction or a toxic relationship. There was always some type of victory at the end.
Hmm.
Like, I know that the season that I'm walking into now, this season, this is my season. This is where I get to intentionally create the life that I desire,
Yeah,
truly.
yeah, and you've got a lot of years ahead of you,
I
God
do.
willing.
Yes, yes.
Um, Hopefully that heart attack wasn't too serious. I hope it's not lingering or like something that
No,
you know.
no.
'Cause
I
I know
listen.
it's scary.
It came from out of nowhere.
Yeah,
It came from out of absolutely. If you would have told me when I woke up that morning that I would
yeah,
be in the ER or we're in the cath lab at 1 o'clock p.m. after, I wouldn't have believed you. It came from nowhere. So
Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming out,
thank you.
especially on Easter weekend and taking your time to drive out here. So, yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.